Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position on a block or towel, cushion, blanket, something that allows your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and tall, nice and open. Opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. Soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the Heart Chakra. So, as I've mentioned, chakra is Sanskrit for wheels, and there are 7 major wheels or major chakras along our spine. The 4th chakra is the Heart Chakra, and it has its own function in your physical and your subtle body, like a room has its own function in your house. And I'm going to use the room that my husband loves, and that's the kitchen. It's his happy place. He loves to cook. And not only that, it's a place of love for him, of doing things, but it's a place where he gives his love to others, to me, he's the chef in the family. So he shares his love every day when he cooks for us and for other people. It's also, the place where you get substance to remain alive. And as you'll see from the heart chakra is in an area that is vital to us living. So think of it as your kitchen. So when the heart chakra is in balance, you feel compassion, self-love, and have fulfilling relationships. When it's out of balance, from being either overactive or underactive or blocked, you may experience emotional or physical disturbances, such as being closed off, having an isolated feeling or feeling of isolation. You may feel judgmental. You may struggle with trust. So all things to do with your heart. So these might be disturbances that are a long-term pattern, and they might be a disturbance that's just a situational event. And the yoga toolkit of asanas and pranayamas, meditations, and even the science of Ayurveda can help balance your chakras. So let's go into the pranayama for today, and that is the basic one. It's the Dirga, or three-part, or complete, it's known by many names, breath. And what it does, it improves lung capacity because it's utilizing the whole respiratory system. And it helps with blood circulation, and it can reduce stress. So one little toolkit item that I found along the way is how to get that breath down into all three parts: the chest, the ribs, and the stomach. Three-part complete breath. And that is using a mudra. We've used it before. So just having your hands open, normal, your breath kind of remains up in your chest area. And that is fine. And a lot of times it works for you. It's where your fight or flight system kind of is. So if you're in a scary situation, you want that area to be working well. But if you want to be in a relaxed state, and that's a more healthy state, then you want your breath to go further down from your chest to your ribs into your tummy. So just having your hands open, breath kind of remains up here. Long term, it's probably not the best thing. So bringing it down into the ribs, just simply bring your index finger to your thumb. And let's just take a couple of breaths. Well, actually, let me tell you the whole thing, and then you can kind of experiment on your own. So then bringing the breath down into your stomach, you just add your middle finger to it. So I'd like you to just experiment. Start with open hands. And then slowly, like closing your eyes so you can really kind of focus on your breath. Bring that index finger and thumb together. See if you experience anything different with your breath. And then bring that middle finger and join it with the other two. And see if you experience something different with your breath. Try it again, or just remain on the full complete breath, mudra. You can return to your natural breath. So for today's meditation, I'd like you to continue with either your natural breath, or if you'd like to use that Dirga breath, just that full complete breath. I'd like you to visualize. And with the visualization, you may, I was thinking about this, is like cartoon character has that little cartoon bubble above that's kind of coming out, either its mouth or its head. This little bubble would come out of your nose because it would be a breath. So visualize breathing in love and having that little bubble filled with hearts. So when you're breathing in love and holding it in your heart, you just see all these little hearts flowing through that bubble and coming in your nose and coming down into your heart, just filling your heart with all these little teeny hearts, heart bubbles. So visualize breathing in love and holding it in your heart. And then visualize breathing out love from your heart into the world. So you're going to send those little hearts back out and into the world. Visualize breathing in love and holding it in your heart. And then visualize breathing out love from your heart into the world. And if you'd like to add an affirmation, the affirmation would be, my heart is filled with love. My heart is filled with love. You may open your eyes now. So, discussing the chakras and physically where they are on our body. Last week we left off with the solar plexus, which kind of ended where the solar plexus is. And the heart chakra kind of starts there. It includes some of your rib cage, the lower part of your rib cage, and then it comes up to your shoulder. So it includes the shoulder blades and the shoulders. And then it obviously includes the heart and the lungs and the diaphragm and all the respiratory system. So it's kind of from here to here, but it's like the, without your heart, you're not going to go anywhere. Without your lungs, you're not going to go anywhere. So it's like a key. It's loaded. We'll put it that way. It's a baked potato that's loaded with stuff, and it's a very emotional area as well. So lots of stuff going on in there. Lots of stuff going on in each chakra, to be honest, as I'm learning this. So let's start, because it includes the shoulders. Let's start with some shoulder shrugs. So we're just kind of gently make circles with our shoulders bring them up to our ears, and the idea is to relax and unwind, not to wind up tight, just the opposite. So you can go one way, and then at some point, if you like, you can reverse the direction. Loosening all up there. Oftentimes when we're tense, that becomes really a hardened area of our body, and just to kind of loosen things up, loosen up how we feel, how we interact with other people. Alrighty, and then we'll bring our fingertips to the mat. And we'll send our hands up with a nice big inhale. And then exhale, bringing them down to heart center. That Anjali mudra or prayer pose comes to the heart. And then we'll inhale, opening up our heart, opening up our chest, our diaphragm. And then exhale, closing the hands in front of the heart. Then inhale up. And exhale down. We'll do this a couple times. You can go at your own pace. Inhale up. Exhale down. Heart center. Open up. And close. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Heart center. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. Ready. And now, having our fingertips on the mat, we're going to lift our arms up and then bring the right arm over the left arm. Bring the right hand to the left shoulder and the left hand to the right shoulder, and give ourselves a nice big hug. Just really hold on and really feel that hug. And then we'll release. And then we'll switch hands. So the right hand comes over the left, over to, or the left hand, I'm sorry, comes over the right, to the right shoulder, and the left shoulder, right hand to the left shoulder. Nice big hug. And then we'll release. We'll come up onto our hands and knees. Wrist right below the shoulders, knees right below the hips, navel tucked to the spine. And we'll gently turning our head from side to side. So just kind of take your nose and swing it over to one side so that you send your gaze over to that direction, and then back, gently back to center, and it's gently swinging it over to the opposite side, and back to center. Do that a couple more times, nice flow from side to side. And then back to center. And once you're back to center, we're going to do some cat cows. So exhaling around our back. And then inhaling, lifting our head and chest open, sending our gaze straight ahead. And then exhale again, rounding the back, sending the breath to the back of the heart. And inhale, sending our gaze up and straight ahead. Inhaling, sending our love out from our heart. Exhale, rounding the back, and breathing into the back of the heart. And then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone out. Breathing in the front of our heart. And just keep going. A few more moments. Nice stretches, synchronizing your breath with your movement. Focusing on your heart. Focusing on your breath. And then once we're back to a neutral position, we're going to send our elbows down to the mat, right where our hands were. So our elbows are right where our handprint was. And then we're going to walk our knees back. And just keep walking them back until you get to the point where your forehead comes down and you're comfortable in this angle. It's the extended puppy. And it's what my puppy Oscar does every morning. I'm not sure why he does it. It's not the most comfortable pose in the world. But puppy dogs seem to love this. But it does, affect those areas that we're focused on today. The heart chakra area, the shoulders, the heart, and the bottom of the rib cage. And then we'll walk our knees back up. Come back to tabletop. And we'll send our knees out to each side of the mat, bringing our big toes together so that their legs are nice, open, toes are together, and we'll send our hips down to our ankles for a wide-legged child's pose. So extend your hands out to the top of the mat, bringing your forehead down. This one's a little bit more comfortable. Nice stretch. then we'll bring ourselves back up, keeping our legs where they are, wide-legged with our big toes together. We place our wrist right below our shoulders. We're going to do some thread the needles. We're going to do a couple swipes and then coming down to the mat on the third swipe. So we're going to lift our arm out to the side and then swipe it under our torso and then bring it over to the left side. But don't come all the way down. This one, we'll just sweep it back and send our hand up to the sky. And then back down, full swipe under our torso, sending our hand over to the left side. And then sweeping it back up again, all the way up to the sky. And then one last time, we'll sweep it down and under our torso. And this time, we're going to bring our shoulder all the way down to the mat. Your right ear and right shoulder on the mat. And if it's comfortable for you, you can take your left hand and send it up to the sky, bringing up your chest. And then we'll bring that left hand back down if it's not already, and come back up. And we'll do that on the other side. So just bringing your left arm up, shoulder height, sweeping it underneath, torso, sweeping it over to the right side, and then sweeping it back and all the way up to the sky. Maybe sending your gaze up to your hand. And then we'll sweep it down and under again. Sweep it over to the right side. Gentle twist. Coming back up. Sweeping it all the way up to the sky. And then sweeping it down. And this time we're going to sweep it all the way through. Over to the right side and bring our left shoulder and left ear down to the mat. And send our right hand up to the sky. And we'll bring that right hand back down. Come back up. Bring our knees together, coming back to tabletop position. Tucking the toes under, excuse me, walk the hands back, coming up onto the tippy toes, or the ball of the foot. We'll press down and come up to mountain pose. So we'll bring our toes in line with the long edge of the mat, or straight edge of the mat, I should say. And lifting our toes up off the mat, trying to spread the toes as far apart as you can, bringing them back down to the mat, lifting the heels up off the mat, and then bringing them back down. Really feeling that connection to your mat, connection to the earth, that grounding sensation. And that is part of the root chakra, which is down here. It provides the foundation, and it's can be called what I need, is what I need. And then it goes up to the sacral chakra, and it's what I feel. And with that, you keep that fluidity in your knees, so keep that gentle bend in your knees, allowing you to be fluid. And then you're at the solar plexus chakra, and that's about strength, and it's what you can or will do. And then we're up to our heart chakra, and that's about softening, and it's what you could say is defined by I love. I love. And then we have the throat chakra, where you're tucking your chin in slightly so that your spine is nice and long, straight. I have to say, with the heart chakra, you're softening your shoulders and letting them roll back. Sorry about that. So it's all about softening, and I love throat chakra. It's tucking your chin in slightly, creating that nice long spine from the back of your head all the way down. Third eye chakra, sending your gaze straight ahead. And the crown chakra, reaching your crown up to the sky, really stretching, standing up straight. And that are the essentials of good posture and mountain pose. So we'll lift our hands all the way up to the sky. Bending our knees, bringing our hands down to the mat. Forward fold. And inhale, lifting our hands to our shins. Nice flat back. Sending our gaze down, really opening up our chest area. Feeling that nice stretch. And then sending the crown of our head down toward the mat, down toward the earth. You just let gravity take over here for a moment. And check in. Check in with your heart today. And then we'll sweep our hands from the mat all the way up overhead, coming up onto our tippy toes as we bring our hands up overhead. And then exhale slowly, lowering our hands and lowering our heels back down to the mat. Nice big inhale, lifting up, coming up onto our tippy toes. And the heart chakra has an element of air. So again, think of that respiratory system in your body. The inhale and the exhale, all about air. And it's about softening. One last time, all the way up onto your tippy toes. And then exhale, slowly lowering down, going down on your heels. And we'll send our hands all the way down to the bottom of the mat, or to the bottom of the mat, to the mat. And then bringing our hands to our shins, nice flat back. Gaze straight down. And then the crown of the head comes down toward the earth. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Big inhale. Palms come together. And then we'll do our supported side stretch. So our right hand comes down to the right thigh, sliding it down toward our knee. Arching our body over to the right. And then coming back up again. And on the left side, left hand comes down to the thigh, sliding it down toward the knee. And then back up again. One last time on each side, right hand comes down, sliding it down toward the knee. And back up again. And the left hand comes down, sliding it down toward the knee, really arching over to the left. Coming back up. Both hands go back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bring our hands to our shins, half forward fold, nice flat back, nice straight line of our spine. Crown of the head reaches down toward the ground. inhaling, sweeping our hands all the way up again. Palms come together. And then we're going to bring our hands down and bring them in the back of our hips and interlace them, bringing them to the back of our hips and interlacing them, standing with our feet about hip width apart. Just do a forward fold with a yoga lock. When you have your hands interlaced together and behind your back, it's a yoga lock. So we're going to, and this is optional for where, how far you'd like to do this. You can just bend over, pivot at the waist, having your hands resting on your hips, just like we were in a forward fold, or half forward fold rather. Or if you'd like to send the crown down to the mat and send your arms up to the sky. It's the full forward fold with the yoga lock. And if you're in that position, just bring your arms gently back down to your hips and then come back up to mountain pose. And we'll sweep our hands up overhead again. Big inhale, send them back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale to half forward fold, nice straight back, straight spine. Exhale, sending the crown of our head down to the mat. And then sending our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of the hips. So with our feet hip width apart, we put our palms of our hands on the back of our hips, gently and softening our shoulders and gently rolling them back. Tuck our chin toward our chest, and then just gently drop the shoulders back. And find your breath, see how it's doing. If it's a little strained, maybe you want to come back up a little bit, or if it's a nice even flow, stay in that position and just breathe into the pose. And then we'll come back up to mountain pose. And we continue on. So we'll sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale. Send our hands down to the mat. Fingers touch for forward fold. Then send our hands to our shins for half forward fold. And then put both hands and plant them on the mat, extending our feet to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. Wrists are right below our shoulders, heels are pushing back. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating our hips slightly. And then we'll either come down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the mat, keeping our elbows tucked together. We're tucked to the ribs. And then we'll slide the fingers to the front of the mat. Come into Sphinx position. So our elbows are right below our shoulders. Tops of our feet are nicely engaged into the top of the mat. And as we open our chest, think about the term or the phrase that I heard years ago that's always stuck with me, and it's a great philosophy in life. This came from Deepak Chopra, from the meditation series he and Oprah used to do together. And he said, lead from the heart, not from the head. Lead from the heart, not from the head. So we're going to do a lot of that today in our practice. Really opening up our heart, sending it forward. Alrighty, I'm going to bring our hands right below our shoulders, elbows tucked to the side, lifting our chin and chest up, and then gently pushing down, coming into Cobra. And then pushing all the way up to tabletop, and then sending our hips down to our ankles, extended child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, tucking our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. We'll take a moment to just pedal out our dog here, take our dog for a walk. Something I love doing every morning with Oscar. So your hands have your fingers open wide, index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight and strong. Chest is reaching toward your thighs to elevate your hips even more. And then you can pedal out. And then we're going to bring our right knee toward our chest, not toward the elbow, as we usually do, but just toward the chest, and then back again, and pedal out. And then lift that knee, bringing it toward the chest again, and then back, pedal out. And then we're going to lift that knee and lift the foot and bring it into a runner's lunge, sending the foot all the way up between the hands, coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll pivot the back foot down and come up into warrior one. So with this warrior one, I'd like you to move your foot. I have my right foot here, move it toward the edge of the mat, kind of closer so that both feet aren't on the same track. They're on two separate tracks. You are able to face the top of your mat a little bit more comfortably. So we're going to take our hands and swing them in back of us and sending our heart forward, coming in, bending on the knee, but not extending the knee any further than your big toe. And then we'll swing our hands back, swing them all the way up overhead, and straighten our right leg as we do that. And we'll just gently swing our hands back down, bending our knee as we go, sending our heart forward, hands back. And then one last time, sweeping it up overhead. Straightening the front leg. And create a little arch in your back. And then sweeping our hands down. Starting to bend that knee. Sending our heart forward. Nice and slow. Then we'll place our hands back down on the mat. Send our right foot back to join the left foot, coming back into plank pose. And then coming down, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Keeping our hands right under our shoulders. And then gently lift our chin and chest up, pushing down into cobra. And then keep pushing, coming into tabletop. And then sending our hips to our ankles for extended child's pose. And we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lift our hips back up for downward dog, and walk our dog again. And we'll bring our right knee up and toward our chest, and then send it back for downward dog, pedal out. And then again, lift that knee up, bring it toward the chest, and then back for downward dog. And then we'll bring that foot all the way forward between our hands for runner's lunge. Going into runner's lunge. And then we'll pivot the back foot down and rise up, coming up into warrior one again. Again, I ask you if you bring your right foot or your front foot over toward the edge of the mat, so it's creating two lines opposed to one track. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. And then we're going to bring our hands behind our back, interlacing our fingers, coming into that yoga lock position. And we'll pivot from the waist and just send our heart forward. You come down toward your thigh, as comfortable as you can do that. And then we'll come back up, straightening out our front leg, sending our interlaced fingers down toward the ground, really opening up our chest. And then we'll do that, sending our heart forward again, bending our knee, sending our heart toward the front of the mat, sending our hands out behind us. And then coming back up again, pushing down that leg, straightening out the leg, then drawing the hands down toward the mat, opening up our chest. And on this last one, we're going to come forward again, bending our knee. And you can choose either to stay here, or if you like a little more challenge, we'll go into humble warrior by bringing your right shoulder down toward your right knee, sending your arms up overhead. And then we'll release our yoga lock, release our hands, bring them down to the mat, send our right foot back, coming into plank pose. And then we'll Lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keeping our hands underneath our shoulders, lifting our chin and chest up, coming into cobra, and then lifting up and sending our hips back to child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, tucking your toes under, lifting your hips up to downward dog. And then we'll slowly walk our feet up to our hands, coming to a forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do that again. So on the other side, sweeping our hands all the way up. And then coming down. Touching our fingertips and then bringing our hands to our shins for half forward fold. And then bringing our hands to the mat. Extending our feet back. Coming into plank pose. And then lowering down. Knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. And sending our fingers to the front of the mat, coming into Sphinx pose. And we'll feel that leading with your heart and not with your head. Another way of saying is leading with love and not your ego. And then we'll bring our hands underneath our shoulders, lift the chin and chest up, coming into cobra. And then up to tabletop, and then bringing our hips down to the ankles for extended child's pose. And then we'll come up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog, and pedal out here for a moment. And then lifting the left knee, bringing it toward our chest, and then back again, pedal out. And then lifting our left knee again, bringing it toward our chest, and then pedal out. And then we're going to bring that left foot up between the hands into runner's lunge. So lift the left leg up, guide it into the runner's lunge. Pivot the back foot down, lifting your torso up, and then sending your left foot over to the left, over toward the edge. So again, you're on 2 tracks, not 1. With a bend in your front knee, we'll send our arms back and lean in forward, leading with our heart. And then inhale, lifting our arms up to the sky, straightening that front leg. And then bringing it, hands back down, bending our knee, sending the hands back, sending our heart forward, sweeping our hands up again, straightening the leg, and then sweeping our hands down and back, leaning into that bent leg. And then we're going to bring our hands down to the mat, sending our left foot to join the right foot, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keeping our hands right where they are. Gently lift our chin and our chest, And then pushing down, coming into Cobra. And then lifting up to tabletop, sending our hips down to extend the child's pose. And lifting ourselves back up to tabletop, tucking our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky. We'll pedal out here. And then lift the left knee up toward our chest. And then back again to pedal out. And then lift the left knee up toward our chest. And back again, pedal out. And then bringing that left foot all the way up between the hands, coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll pivot the back foot down, raise our torso up, and send that left foot out to the edge of the mat. Again, coming on 2 tracks and not 1. We'll interlace our fingers behind our back, shoulders are soft and relaxed, so that feels comfortable. And then we'll send our heart forward, pivoting over our thigh, sending our hands out behind us, and then coming back up again, straightening out our front leg, and then bringing ourselves forward again, leading with our heart, bending into the knee, sending our hands out back, and pushing down into our leg, front leg, coming back up again, straightening the front leg. And this last time, we're going to come down, and if you'd like to come into that humble warrior, we just bend our knee, come over our thigh, and bring the left shoulder to the left knee, sending the hands up to the sky. And then we'll release the hands, bring them to the mat, sending our foot back, join the other, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Hands are still underneath our shoulders, elbows tucked in toward our ribs, lifting our chin and then our chest, pushing down, lifting up into cobra. And then lifting up and down into extend the child's pose. And then we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lifting up to downward dog. We'll slowly walk our feet up to our hands. Coming into forward fold and sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. Well done, everyone. We'll take our pinky toes out to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in, 45-degree angle. Hands come to heart center. Prayer pose, Anjali mudra. We'll slowly lower our hips down toward the mat, bringing our torso between our legs, elbows tucked on the inside of our knees. And then we're going to bring our hands down to the mat and bring our knees down to the mat. Come back into tabletop. And then with our knees on the mat, we're going to lower our hips down toward our ankles, come into hero's pose. And if you have a block that makes it more comfortable for you or a blanket, you're welcome to use that now. We'll do a few chest openers by bringing our hands behind our hips and interlacing our fingers and sending those fingertips down toward our toes. Our toes are sitting right there or down toward the mat. And we'll bring our interlaced fingers over to our right waist and then back down behind us, down toward the toes, and then over to the left waist, and then send those fingertips, interlaced fingers down to our toes, and then over to the right, and then back, sending them down toward our toes, and then over to the left, and then back, sending them down toward our toes. And at this point, you can release your fingers and just place them on the tops of your toes. And we're going to bring the fingertips to the very end of the toes, so your fingertips are actually on the mat, but the back of your fingers are touching your toes. So they're all kind of connected back there. And then we're going to bring our palms down to the mat, opening up our chest, coming into a modified camel. So you can stay in this position, or if you like, you can try to reach your hips up toward the sky and really open up that whole area. And then we'll come back down. If you're up, come back to that hero's pose. And then swing your legs out from under you. And we'll come down to the mat. You can bring your hands underneath your knees and use the express method of coming down to the mat. Interlace our fingers around our legs. Give them a nice big hug. Rocking our legs, our back side to side. And if you'd like, you can draw big circles with your toes and really relax that back. Give it a nice massage. Circles one way and then the other way. And then we'll bring our knees, our feet to the mat. Our knees are pointing upright. We'll just do a few windshield wipers here just to also relax our lower back. So just sweep them to one side and then up and over to the other side. Arms are alongside of you, palms facing down to support you. And just slowly go from side to side. And then bringing them back to center, you can extend them all the way, your feet all the way down to the end of the mat, coming into the corners of the mat and preparing for Shavasana. And for today's Shavasana, I'd like you to place your left hand on your heart and right hand over your left. And just feel your heart. Might have revved up a little bit from our asana practice. And see if you can just really get in touch with its rhythm. See if it slows down a little bit. Feel the breath coming through your chest. And today's poem I have for you is titled One Breath at a Time by Danna Faulds. Breathe with me in the rhythm of mountain streams, in the hypnotizing cadence of waves breaking on the shore. Breathe in the peace that plays just beneath the agitated surface of the mind. Find the breath that expresses your connection to the silence, to abiding forgiveness, to the shining light of spirit in your heart. Your own true breath can release you from the prison of your fears and plumb the depths of your awareness. It all starts here, the choice to breathe, relax, and feel. The choice to witness without judgment and allow the truth of life to be revealed.